So it's all to play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, Aston Villa fans, and welcome to the Love of Paul McGrath podcast for Aston Villa 4, Nottingham Forest 2. What an absolutely fantastic set of results the Villa have just had here, because Manchester United have just been beaten 2-1 by Fulham as well. That's why I was late. I wanted to watch the end of it to make sure, because it was 9 minutes of added time. And Alex Iwobi, never doubted him, pings one into the bottom corner. So absolutely excellent day of results for Aston Villa so far. And a really, really good, entertaining game of football as well at Villa Park that I'm sure we're going to talk about, Paddy.
I wouldn't say entertaining, no. It's got to the stage where my fucking heart can't take any more of this. Having been coasting at 3-0 going into half-time to concede so late and then start a bit shaky in the second half just frightened the life out of me. But look, it's a sign of a good sign, as they always say, that can have a little wobble like that and still come out on top and go and finish them off. So very, very happy with the results today. I said before the game I would have taken a 4-3 or a 3-2. So 4-2 was one better. And happy days. Absolutely happy days. And obviously the United result has made things a whole lot better, and we've overturned at least one of those defeats that we've given up to them in the last month. So happy days.
Yeah.
Draw a breath for a while.
I don't know. I didn't. I wasn't as panicked when we got to 3-2. I wasn't, because
for you.
Yeah, I wasn't. Like, their goal just before half time I thought was a really, like, it was a well worked goal. It's something that Villa get caught with a bit. The player that just peels off to the back post. And I just wonder, I presume that they do some work on that, obviously, but it's something we've seen before. And then their goal after halftime was two centre halves getting to know each other, essentially, inside there. And that's something that we'll talk about in a moment as well. But let's not focus on their goals, I suppose. Let's focus on our goals. I'm going to go on record and say that Leon Bailey's pass for the first goal was nothing short of absolutely exquisite. How he fits that into that area. Like, he had one corridor that he could put that ball into, and he put it exactly where he needed to be for the simplest goal that Ollie Watkins will score all year. Talk to me about that first goal, Paddy.
Well, I did send you a text straight after when you messaged me about the pass, and I said, how good is it that we now have this player willing to make that pass instead of trying to hit a fucking shot from an angle which he's no right to score from. And we can only just look at the man that's teaching him how to do things the right way, because we're looking at a completely different player and an absolute Unai Emery masterclass in teaching him unselfish behaviour and getting that ball through that channel. Absolutely incredible pass to pick out Ollie Watkins in there. And goal number 19 for Ollie Watkins. But yeah, the goal is all on Leon Bailey, 100%. Well, let's not forget a majestic pass that was played through to him by John McGinn as well.
Yeah. McGinn's pass was absolutely fantastic. The second goal, Paddy. What was the second goal? So Douglas Luiz, Jacob Ramsey's cut back to Douglas Luiz.
Brilliant.
Another brilliant goal, unbelievably good team goal. And Jacob Ramsey was somebody I was really impressed with today. But talk me through that and tell me what your feelings were in that goal.
Yeah, once again, we looked at Matty Cash not trying to force it, Jacob Ramsey not trying to force it, and just looking for that out ball to find someone in the position to get a proper shot away. And sure enough, there was Douglas Luiz there to tuck it away, and a nice finish into the bottom corner. And we just before that, we had one just cleared off the line, hadn't we? Was that before the first goal, maybe? Yeah. So like we could have been heading into by that stage we could have been 3 or 4 up, and great finish. But then again, it's the unselfishness which is really getting me today, and just not trying to force these things and just playing to the system, and we're getting there, and we scored 4 goals, albeit we'll get to the 2 goals we conceded, but and it did get shaky. I'm struggling to remember the third goal, which was
third goal was Douglas Luiz's header. It was actually, I'll talk about that one. It was, I think the ball was crossed into the box, and then it was recycled back out, and a lovely cross comes in right into the middle of the goals. And there was probably about 3 Aston Villa players there that could have headed it in, but it landed on Douglas Luiz's head. Really good header from him. Something he's not really known for is his heading ability, but stuck it in the back of the net. And after 30 minutes or so, he was on a hat trick. You know.
And just to address this, the no-look pass from JJ.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a no-look pass, but I think the system is telling him that's exactly where someone needs to be when the ball's in that situation. So you put the ball into that corridor, and it's up to whoever's behind you. And how many times do we see Tielemans rock into that situation today to just be that man on the edge of the box, and it just happened to be Douglas Luiz in there. But absolutely a no-look pass, but he knew exactly where someone was going to be.
Yeah, and it's, as I say, that's not new because Emery has done that before, and it's specifically with Jacob Ramsey has played the ball back to the centre or to the penalty spot, and it's somebody's job to be getting into there to that spot. So once again, that kind of what we played at the start of the season, that W kind of attacking formation where you know the players are going to be at certain spacings in certain areas of the field. So if you get caught, you can just pass it into that area and see what happens specifically in and around the box, and it works. It really does. It's very difficult to defend when you're passing into space like that in the box, because if a defender comes thundering out there to try and get to that, clips Douglas Luiz, it's a penalty. You know, so defenders are going to come halfway for those, and you're always going to get a shooting chance if it's a 50-50 ball in that. Excuse me, in that instance there. So really liked that first goal. The fourth goal, Paddy, was lovely ball through to Ollie Watkins. Ollie Watkins tries to lift it up over the keeper, clips the keeper, and then rolls to Leon Bailey right in front of the goals. Don't think there's really much to dissect from that, I suppose. But that really was the settler, I think, more so than anything else, Paddy.
Yeah, well, I think at that stage we had kind of got back into bossing the game. They did come back us for a little bit after that went in, but I think it was the settler. I think at that stage I was able to relax in my seat instead of sitting on the edge of it, gnawing my knuckles at that stage. I'd gone past the nails and everything, down to the knuckles. But it was just one of those ones where you just needed something to finish it off, and that was it, 100%.
And we forgot as well, we neglected to mention, or I meant to mention, should I say, with those cut back passes to the penalty area or to the penalty spot, Youri Tielemans hits the post as well, with another lovely move. The way that I think it was Moreno coming in from the left hand side, plays it out to kind of the edge of the area, that penalty spot area, and he has a crack from there and hits the post and
he was unlucky. He probably should have done better with the chance. I hope everybody listened to Lee Hendry talking about how good a game he had, because I thought he was excellent today. Not so much on the ball, but off the ball and dragging players here, there, and everywhere. I think he just did his job magnificently today and ran himself into the ground, albeit not at a hectic pace, but he did run himself into the ground. And he was at the centre of things. If he wasn't picking up the ball, he was dragging players left, right, and centre and creating space in that midfield, which was great.
Yeah, and look, 4-2 for Aston Villa, or 4-2 win is absolutely brilliant, you know, and it keeps us going where we want to go. As I say, we have the points in hand on these teams. We keep winning, they can't catch us. It's that simple. You know, we're now 5 points ahead of Spurs, albeit they have a game to play, and we're back to 8 points ahead of Manchester United again, having played the same number of games, and they've City next, and we've Luton next. So, albeit Luton are in good run of form at the moment, they're putting it up to a lot of teams while not getting the results currently. Aston Villa have to go there and be professional and do the job there. And Manchester United, then we would, you know, Manchester United lose to City once again. Having the points on the board is what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. And today's result in Old Trafford, a game, as I mentioned in the preview show, or in the team sheet tantrum, that I was actually supposed to be at. I was supposed to be in Old Trafford today at this game. I can tell you for one thing, one thing would be damn sure, I probably would never be on the podcast again, because I would have been lynched coming out of that place with the 90s.
You may not have survived that trip, but
I certainly wouldn't have. No, the 90, because there's no way I wouldn't have been able to absolutely erupt with laughter. But I do wish my cousin Ricky all the best on his stag in Manchester while we're here, just in case he's not too hammered to listen to this later on at some stage.
I hope he's a Man United fan, is he?
He's a United fan. Yeah, he's a United fan. And it was a group of United fans, so I would have been definitely the outlier going over it. What was I going to say? Paddy, elephant in the room time. And Patrick Hopkinson, thank you so much for that. Sorry. No, we'll get to your one in a moment, Patrick Hopkinson, about Dina, but elephant in the room time. Pau Torres, Paddy. You initially text me and said, I hope he doesn't regret resting Pau. I don't think it was a rest based on what we can see online, but it'll be interesting to hear what he says in the presser.
Well, what could you see online? Because when I'm watching my laptop and I'm a few minutes behind, I try and turn off Twitter in case I miss something. Now, don't get me wrong. Today, I was totally bamboozled by the fact that they had the Man United score up in the top corner, and I spent the whole bloody 45 minutes of the second half watching it to see was it going to change, and it did change, and I celebrated twice and banged my head off the sofa once. But it is the one black mark, I suppose, on what I won't say a perfect day, but a really, really good day, because we've gone and won the game and Man United haven't, and it just helps our fight towards the end of the season. But I hope the fact that we've seen him sitting on the bench just wrapped in his coat as normal would mean that Pau Torres is okay. Nothing to base it on. I just felt at 3-1, he felt maybe Pau Torres could do with a break, and we'll do it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you've seen something that I didn't see, or somebody who knows stuff. But that's just the way I looked at it.
No, it wasn't anyone that was ITK or anything like that. It was just people saying that it seemed to have been injury-related substitution, but I don't know. I suppose that's people probably went to it. Guys, that's what I was thinking myself as well. Torres, he was stretching his hammy in the corner. Maybe they took him off as a precaution. I'm sure we're going to find out from Unai Emery when he does meet the press. And we'll keep our ears and our ears to that, and our eyes to Twitter to see if anything does come out in that. But Patrick Hopkinson also mentions, does anyone know what Emery was saying to Dina on the bench? That was a strange situation, because Dina was laughing back at Emery, and Emery was bawling him out of it for whatever reason. Now, I don't imagine there was anything too bad or it was going on there. I would imagine potentially it was just some sort of a misunderstanding where Dina was like, I don't know what you're asking me to do or something, because he brings him on later on in the game. But did you see that? Did you? I made mental reference to that as well. You didn't see it?
I didn't see it.
I made mental reference to that. I was like, that is a strange situation, because Emery was going nuts at him, and he was just looking back at him going, and you couldn't see Emery's face. It was just all expression in the shoulders and the head. And Dean was just like going, I don't know what you're like. He was just like that. It was like somebody fired a ball of paper at him, and he turned around and he was like, who did that? Which one of you did that? And Dean was like, I don't know, it wasn't me at all. Like it was really, really, really strange. And look, there can't have been anything in it. He brings Luca Dean on then, towards the end of the game as well. So, but it was interesting, because they did look. It looked like Luca Dean was giving him was acting the maggot at some stage, and Emery wasn't taking it. But yeah, also Paddy, I got to see Morgan Rogers, albeit for like a minute.
And you nearly saw Morgan Rogers' goal as it transpired.
Unfortunately, I didn't, Paddy, because I had turned over to Fulham and Man United at that stage. But so Morgan Rogers, Morgan Rogers has come on twice, and he's come against Sheffield United, very nearly scored as well. And he's probably 21 minutes or something like that played for Villa. He's had two really, really good chances.
Yeah. And it wasn't, it was a half chance more than anything else today, but plenty of bodies in front from there. So fingers crossed it was, his goal is not far away, and he'll get a better opportunity than he did with those two.
Yeah. Anna Grady says a reporter at the game said it was all a bit of fun, and they'd asked about it later. Yeah, so there isn't much. I presume that's with regards to the Dina thing. Fair play.
Well, he did bring him on, as you say.
Yeah,
but it was from what you're describing, it would suggest a manager turned into a player and going, "Don't you fucking do that when you get on the pitch."
Dico Blanco says maybe Dina was taking a piss out of the left back, bashing it out of play unnecessarily, and Emery was like, "I've seen you do what." Yeah, Maybe it could be. Maybe it could be. Also in defence, and sorry, I'm moving from point to point very quickly here because I do have a hard stop at 25 past here. I got to run. But Callum Chambers, Paddy, comes in. You know, what, 1 foot and 4 toes and the other foot out the door in January, and called upon today, comes in. I thought he was, albeit it's hard to pin the second goal on anyone for sure, and I'm certainly not pinning it on the two centre halves, but I did think they were slow to move in unison, both of them. But apart from that, I thought he was absolutely rock solid. He was grand.
Oh, I think he did absolutely fine. He didn't have a whole pile to do. There was one very important interception header that he made near the end to divert the ball away from the goal, which Emi Martinez ultimately saved from going out for a corner. But other than that, he was absolutely fine. If we're going to need him next week, it was important he got those 45 minutes under his belt. And we're gone very thin now at centre half, and it is a concern. And hopefully, it was just a twinge. If they're saying it's a hamstring injury, it was just a twinge that they're a little bit worried about. They get a scan on it tomorrow, have a look, and get him back in training next week, because we need him. He's incredible. He's absolutely incredible. As I said to you during the week, my one short with no number on it is getting number 14 as soon as I get off to Villa Park.
He's really good, isn't he? And as Tom says here, Ezri Konsa, yeah. So like he's back training, obviously, but not ready yet, I think is the case. He's progressing well, as Mister would say, or has said, should I say. From that point of view, thanks to Joe Topsy for becoming a member on YouTube. Really, really appreciate that, Joe.
Cheers, Jordan.
Really appreciate it. I'm trying to think, Paddy, as well. Like, am I at risk now of getting the full Paddy Kelly treatment if I say I didn't think the ref was half bad today?
You are, because I thought he was exceptionally poor in the first 20 minutes. I think he was trying to be whistle happy, and he at one stage Jacob Ramsey went in shoulder to shoulder, and he gave the free kick against them, which is mind-boggling. I think at this stage there's far too much pressure on them, and they actually have forgotten what frees are and what aren't. Your man had Ollie Watkins in a headlock at one stage, and he was already on a yellow card. Didn't even give the free kick. He got him in a headlock and put his knee into the back, and he was standing no more than five yards away from the incident. The one thing I will say, he was poor for both teams, and
that's probably that's why I thought he was like. That's what I can't really point to anything, any decision he made that would have changed the game. But I could imagine a player or two being frustrated.
Yeah, and that's all it was. He wasn't as bad as the guy last week for sure. He had a bit more about him, and not afraid to make a decision. But I thought he was poor for both teams. There was a couple of questionable decisions on both sides, but it made little or no difference to the game. I was annoyed early on, but happy enough that we got the result and we don't have to talk about him now.
Yeah, exactly. And look, the result is really what matters, and the table is really what matters at the moment, because as Aston Villa in fourth place, 5 points clear of Spurs and 8 points clear of Manchester United, which is an absolutely brilliant position to be. And as you said, Paddy, that's a great way of thinking about it now that you say it. It's actually a fantastic way of thinking about it. And I think this should be our kind of motto. We have gotten one of those games that we felt we should have won against Manchester United, or at least gotten a point out of against Manchester United. We've gotten one of those games back. Now it's up to us to get another one back against Luton and see how they progress if they get on, or how they get on against City, should I say, because it's all about position now at the moment, holding your position, and the best way to do that is winning and putting pressure on the teams below us. So it's all to be seen now, and I'm really excited after this game. I'm really, really excited for the game against Luton. I'm really excited for the two ties against Ajax as well, which will be upcoming, Paddy. We haven't spoken about it.
Yeah.
Are you happy with that draw?
This might take a minute or two, but so bear with me. I am happy with the draw, and I'm probably happier than most people are. And the reason, while this is really long-winded, I'll try and cut it short, is the more big clubs we can get out of the competition early on, the better chance is there's more tickets for fans should we get to the final. So I'm all for these big clubs being beaten and us going and playing a smaller club later on in the competition. And if please, Paul McGrath, we get to the final, there's less competition for tickets, and that's my motivation for getting the likes of the Ajaxes and Dynamo Zagrebs and big clubs like that may take big support, get them out of the competition.
So are you daring to dream of Aston Villa versus Maccabi Tel Aviv, where we come up against Robbie Keane in the other dugout? Robbie Keane versus
no fans, no away fans,
no away fans. That's it. That would be the best of all worlds. I think that would be. But yeah,
Neil,
look,
as you well know, I have my hotel and my flights booked for Athens, and I'm going regardless of whether we get there. It's a place I always wanted to visit. So I have tied in a family holiday with the fact that Villa might be in the Conference League final that week. So fingers crossed, I get to do everything I wanted to do while I'm in Athens, which includes watching Villa play in a Conference League final. But dare to dream, you know what I'm like. I always wear my heart in my sleeve and do stupid things like that. But it was just something that needed to be done. So I've done it, and I've done it relatively cheaply. So I'm looking forward to my holiday in Athens.
I'm still considering put my 2 kids up for adoption so I can go as well. But more to come on that. Thank you so much to Ad for becoming a YouTube member, and Jesus, Paul, thank you so much. Paul has gifted 10 subscriptions, 10 memberships for the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. Thank you so much for that, Paul. Really appreciate
what that means. What does that mean?
So they will go to, like, they get given out automatically then to people by YouTube to regular listeners of the podcast.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so that's what that is.
Fair play to you, Paul.
Which is
absolutely fair play.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, Paul.
550 people in here. Please hit the like button for us today. We really appreciate it.
Really, really would. There's another one here as well. Paul's coming up with all the goods today. He's telling us that Kieran O'Callaghan tried to buy something with his driver's license today. There we go. Like that's we've all done it.
Usually in Birmingham when you're full of sauce. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Exactly. But it is 25 past. Yes, Dan H says 25 past, Neil, you better get going. And that is my cue to go. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. A really, really great win for Aston Villa today. A great set of results in the other games as well. Let's keep an eye on results as well as our own performances as we go through. 4 goals is a nice haul. Nice uptick in the goal difference as well between ourselves, Manchester United, and ourselves and Spurs. So really, really positive day. Nothing really to give out about at all. Long may these days continue, and as we always say, we need to hold this position and see what comes in the coming weeks. But I'm really excited for the final. What is it, 12 games now, Paddy, of the season, because it's a real tight run in, and like if we keep holding our nerve like we're doing at the moment, you know, be absolutely delighted. Delighted. Yeah, so thanks very much, everybody, for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. We will be back later on in the early on next week with more content. I don't know what we're going to do, but I had an idea for another podcast that just slipped my mind at the moment. But keep an eye out for that. And thank you so much. In the meantime, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.